We are going to make a cranberry glazed meatloaf, perfect for a Christmas dinner. Everyone doesn't want turkey or ham, and sometimes you want something that's just quick and easy. You can throw all this together, pop it in the oven, and you're done. It's also good because you can make it in smaller portions, or you can just cut it and freeze what you don't want. It freezes very, very well. The first thing we're going to do is make our cranberry sauce. But before we even do that, we are making this in a Bundt pan. That's going to make it even more festive for the holidays. The first thing you want to do is make sure your Bundt pan, although we have ground beef, now you can use ground turkey, you can use ground lamb, you can use whatever protein you want. I'm using ground beef, and even though ground beef will release a lot of oils, you still, because it's a Bundt pan and it has all these crevices, you still want to oil it. So I'm going to be oiling mine with some Wagyu beef tallow, okay? Keeping that delicious flavor going. So I'm gonna get that done, and then we're gonna start on our cranberry sauce. Again, I'm using Wagyu beef tallow. It smells good. So just take some and make sure that you get it in all the crevices. You can actually do this with a spray oil, but I find using the beef tallow or butter works better for this, okay? Don't skip this process just because you know the ground beef is going to be oily. We're gonna drain that, but this is to make sure that it doesn't stick in any of the crevices, all right? Okay, so what I have here is cranberry sauce. I will have that recipe and all recipes on my website, pamspreps.com. So I am mixing this in with some brown sugar and tomato paste. And we're gonna lightly blend this together just to make sure everything's incorporated. Give everything a good mix before we blend it. The biggest reason that I am going to blend it, you really don't have to. I didn't want to bring out my big blender, so I have my immersion blender here, but this is homemade cranberry sauce and it has whole cranberries in it. So I want to break those up just a little bit, okay? So we're going to go ahead and blend this. Okay, now we are pretty much going to just add everything into this bowl, okay? Now, everything is going to go in here, and I am actually going to put about a tablespoon of this Wagyu in here. Yes, I am putting oil in it. It gives it an amazing flavor, okay? So don't skip that process, right? Here I have green bell pepper, red bell pepper, onion, and minced garlic, okay? Just put everything in. This large measuring cup, I have some breadcrumbs that have been soaked in hot water, okay? This is more like stuffing as far as the breadcrumbs is concerned. It's not your typical panko. But this is a holiday meatloaf, so it's going to be a little bit different than your regular meatloaf. Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire, whatever you want to call it sauce, okay? I have milk. We're going to be putting in 2 eggs. Using my Pam's Prep all-purpose seasoning. Okay, now we are going to add in just a little bit of our sauce here. Our cranberry sauce, okay? When you are mixing this, you want to make sure you mix it very, very well. However, you don't want to over mix it, okay? So once it's thoroughly combined, you want to stop at that point, and this smells amazing. Oh my goodness, I can smell all the flavors, including my Pam's Prep all-purpose seasoning. Smells so good. All of your ground meat should be well seasoned and flavored once you finish combining it. I am going to add in some white pepper. And because my Pam's Prep all-purpose seasoning has very low sodium in it, I'm adding a little bit of salt to it, okay? Go ahead and combine that. Now we want to put it into our Bundt pan, okay? Kind of just like to put it around. We're going to pack it down once we get it in here, okay? You want to firmly pack it down once you get it in here. And I'm just going around, putting some all around the ring. From here, you just want to pat it down. And you also want to make it as even as possible. So when you take it out, it will sit flat. We are going to cook this covered for 30 minutes in a 350-degree oven. And we will uncover it at that time and continue to bake. Okay, this is what it should look like going into the oven, and we'll be back. Okay, we are going to remove the foil. Ooh, be careful because the steam is hot. Let me put one of my little candy cane pot holders back on. Or oven mitts, oven glove, yes, back on. Ooh, okay, look at that. It is looking good, it is looking good. Now we're going to put it back in uncovered. See how it's looking? You see all that oil that's gathered in there? I'm gonna pour just a little bit of that off, and we're gonna put it back in the oven, okay? Okay, I didn't pour all of it off, but I did pour some of it off. Now we need it to start browning, so we're gonna take the foil off, and we'll be back. Ooh, okay. We are all done. We are going to drain the liquid. I'm gonna let it cool just long enough for me to get it out so that we can then work with our glaze, okay? So I'm gonna drain this and I'll be back. One, two, three. Ooh, okay. Ooh, almost dropped it. All right, now we have to put our glaze on and put it back in the oven. The glaze a little bit. Now we're gonna put this glaze all over the whole meatloaf. Get a brush. Put the glaze all over the whole meatloaf. inside the little hole and everything. Okay, now we're going to put this under the broiler just for about 2 minutes because the actual meatloaf is done and you don't want to overcook it. You want it to still be moist and juicy inside. Okay, and then reserve a little bit. So we're going to put this back in the oven just for a couple of minutes to let the glaze set. Also, if you want to leave it on the tray, because it does get kind of difficult to move. So if you want to leave it on your serving platter, your tray or whatever, before you make sure it's oven safe, before you go in the oven. That's why I put the foil on here. But you see it has a lot of the liquid still in here. So I'm just going to tilt it down this way, take a paper towel and let that extra soak up and clean it up around the base of it. So your presentation when you do serve it will be a little bit tighter, okay? So we'll be back. Straight out of the oven, you want to garnish it with a few parsley flakes all around it. Give it that little pop of color and flavor. Take a look, take a look. Look at that. Won't that look beautiful on your table? Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Look at that garnish. Oh my goodness, now we gotta cut it. Okay, I did reserve some of the cranberry sauce. You wanna add some onto your slices when serving, okay? So let's go ahead and get us a slice. Ooh, look at that, y'all. Look at that. Doesn't that look amazing? Oh my goodness. Ooh. Look at that slice. Look at it, look at it, look at it. And add a little of the cranberry sauce right on top. Doesn't that look amazing, guys? Ooh, okay, it's time for our taste test. If you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me here in my kitchen. Take a second and subscribe to the channel. Returning members and subscribers, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me once again. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. Y'all see how easy that was. Dump it all in a bowl, mix it up, put it in a ring. And you don't have to put it in a ring, but it sure does make a wonderful presentation. It's like a Christmas wreath on your table. And it's a meatloaf, okay? The cranberry has just enough sweetness and tartness. Because I wet the breadcrumbs or the stuffing before I put it in, this is moist, juicy, flavorful. If you don't make this for the holidays, you need to make it just to make it, okay? It is delicious. Yes, yes, yes. And I will say one more thing. Ooh, that beef tallow in there is coming through. Tastes like I ground up a steak or something. But if you don't want to make for an even shorter cut, if you don't want to make the homemade cranberry sauce, you can use the whole berry sauce in a can. Okay, you can use that, and you still will need to blend it down because it has the whole berries. But you want the whole berry kind, not necessarily the gel, because the gel will liquefy way too much. So you don't have to spend time to make the cranberry sauce just for the meatloaf if you don't want to, okay? Go to pamspreps.com for the full recipe and spices and ebooks, okay? I will see you all next time. The good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Bye-bye.